Imagine waking up today and seeing every major NFL analyst, every insider, and even rival executives unanimously saying the same thing. Myles Garrett is the best pass rusher in the National Football League. For Browns fans, this is not a surprise, it is long overdue recognition. For years, Garrett has dominated on the field, creating havoc in offensive backfields, making quarterbacks miserable, and elevating Cleveland's defense into one of the most feared units in football. But this year feels different. This year, the entire league is finally acknowledging what Browns fans have known for a long time. A survey conducted this week among NFL executives, coaches, and scouts revealed that over 70% ranked Myles Garrett as the #1 edge rusher in the league. This is not just a ranking on paper. This is a statement that Garrett has surpassed even legends like TJ Watt, Nick Bosa, and Micah Parsons in both respect and performance. The timing could not be better. The Browns are entering a season full of expectations, with a roster built to contend and a defense coordinated by Jim Schwartz that revolves around Garrett's unique skill set. Garrett's journey to this recognition has not been simple. Drafted first overall in 2017, he arrived in Cleveland as a raw, physically gifted player, but quickly developed into much more than just an athletic marvel. He honed his technique, improved his IQ, and became a leader on and off the field. Over the years, he has faced adversity, injuries, suspensions, and criticism, but his production has remained elite. Last season alone, he finished with double-digit sacks again, setting the tone for a defense that consistently ranked in the top 5 across most categories. The significance of this moment goes beyond just a list or a poll. It reflects how Garrett's peers and rivals view him as the standard at his position. When offensive coordinators plan their week, Garrett is the first name circled on the whiteboard. When offensive tackles watch film, they know they are facing one of the strongest, quickest, and most technically sound edge rushers in football. He combines freakish athleticism with polished hand fighting, elite bend around the edge, and relentless motor. There is no clear weakness in his game, which is why teams routinely have to double-team him, chip him with tight ends or running backs, or redesign their entire protection schemes just to slow him down. For Browns fans, this accolade is also validation. For too long, Cleveland stars have not received national respect. Garrett's elevation to this status proves that elite talent can thrive in Cleveland, that this franchise is no longer an afterthought, but a destination for greatness. His leadership extends beyond sacks and tackles for loss. Garrett sets the tone in the locker room, serves as an emotional anchor for this team. And now, with a massive long-term contract that runs through 2030, he is locked in as the face of the Browns defense for years to come. This recognition adds fuel to what is shaping up to be a pivotal season for Cleveland. With Deshaun Watson facing a make-or-break year and the AFC North as competitive as ever, Garrett's dominance will be critical for the Browns' playoff hopes. The defense runs through him. The swagger of this team begins with him. And now, with the league publicly declaring him the top pass rusher in football, the expectations and the target on his back will only grow larger.
When we break down what makes Myles Garrett the premier pass rusher in the NFL today, it goes beyond the highlight reel sacks and big plays. It is about technique, consistency, and the way his presence changes the way opposing offenses operate. Garrett has evolved from a raw physical specimen into the complete edge defender, a player who not only produces at an elite level individually, but elevates the entire Browns defense just by being on the field. Let's start with his physical tools. At 6'4" and roughly 270 pounds, Garrett possesses rare size-speed explosiveness. His first step is arguably the fastest in the league among edge rushers, allowing him to immediately gain leverage on slower-footed offensive tackles. His get-off timing at the snap forces quarterbacks to rush their reads and offensive lines to commit resources just to keep him at bay. That split-second advantage shows up in pressures even when he does not record a sack. And pressures often lead to turnovers, incompletions, and game-changing mistakes. But Garrett is much more than just an athlete. His hand technique has dramatically improved over the past 2 seasons. He combines powerful punches, effective swipes, and subtle moves like the cross chop and ghost technique to keep blockers guessing. He can win with speed around the edge or convert speed to power and bull rush his way through even the best tackles in football. This versatility means that even when opponents attempt to scheme him out of a play, he finds ways to impact the pocket. Jim Schwartz's scheme also deserves attention here. Schwartz has given Garrett the freedom to rush from multiple alignments, outside on the edge, inside over the guard, and even occasionally standing up to confuse protections. This has unlocked another level of production. Last season, Garrett's alignment versatility allowed Cleveland to generate pressure at one of the highest rates in the league, often forcing quarterbacks into hurried throws or sacks, even when Garrett himself wasn't the one bringing them down. The advanced stats back this up. Garrett's win rate on pass rush snaps was near the top of the NFL last season, and his impact goes beyond the box score. Double teams are almost guaranteed when he's on the field, which creates opportunities for other players along the Browns' front like Zadarius Smith, Ogo Okoronkwo, and Dalvin Tomlinson to win their matchups. His very presence tilts the field, and opposing coordinators know it. Now, let's talk about how Browns fans are reacting to this national recognition. On social media, the reaction has been a mix of pride and, finally, they get it. Cleveland fans have long believed that Garrett was overlooked in favor of players on more media-friendly franchises or those with gaudier sack numbers that didn't necessarily reflect down-to-down dominance. For years, the conversation around Garrett was tinged with skepticism due to off-field controversies or simply because he played in Cleveland, a city that national media tends to ignore unless there's a crisis. But this week's survey changed that narrative. Fans see it as a turning point, not just for Garrett, but for how Cleveland football is perceived league-wide. Garrett is now being talked about as not only the best at his position, but as a future Defensive Player of the Year favorite and a potential Hall of Fame candidate. His jersey is flying off shelves, his highlights are dominating NFL social feeds, and local radio shows are filled with fans calling in to share stories about watching him play live and how they believe this season will cement his legacy in Cleveland. There's also a sense of confidence brewing among Browns fans. Knowing that their defense is anchored by the best edge rusher in the game gives this fan base real hope, not false optimism. Garrett's dominance means that even when the offense struggles, even in games where conditions are ugly or points are hard to come by, the defense can keep Cleveland in every game. That is the hallmark of a legitimate contender. In short, this recognition of Garrett's status is about more than one player. It's about what he represents for this team and this fan base. That Cleveland is building something sustainable, something respectable, and maybe, just maybe, something championship caliber.
At Dawg Pound Daily, we believe this moment, Myles Garrett being officially recognized by league insiders as the best pass rusher in the NFL, represents much more than an individual accolade. This is a signal that the Cleveland Browns are no longer outsiders or afterthoughts. Garrett's rise reflects a broader shift in how this organization is perceived and, more importantly, what it is becoming. A franchise that expects to win, and one that has legitimate superstars leading the way. For years, national recognition like this was rare for Cleveland players. Even when talent was on the roster, media narratives and league-wide perceptions often buried Browns players beneath the noise of larger market teams or more glamorous storylines. Now, with Garrett's name at the very top of every pass rusher ranking, the conversation is changing. This is not a fluke, and it's not hype. It is the result of years of development, consistency, and dominance. The timing of this recognition is critical. The 2025 season is not just another year for this franchise. Deshaun Watson is under pressure to deliver. Kevin Stefanski is expected to take this team deeper into the playoffs. The roster is stacked on defense, and Garrett's prime years cannot be wasted. This is the window. And what Garrett's status as the top edge rusher does is set the tone for the entire locker room. When the best player at his position in the league is on your team, working relentlessly, dominating matchups, and showing leadership on and off the field, everyone else feels that standard. It raises expectations internally and externally. From a football standpoint, this also affects how every opponent prepares for Cleveland. Offensive coordinators have to start their week with one question: how do we slow down Myles Garrett? That means extra blockers, changes to protection schemes, and quicker throws, which means more opportunities for turnovers and mistakes. In a division as competitive as the AFC North, every slight advantage matters, and Garrett gives Cleveland a significant one on every snap he plays. There is also an emotional component here that Browns fans understand better than anyone. This franchise has been through dark times. It has endured seasons of irrelevance, coaching changes, quarterback failures, and heartbreak. For this fan base to now have a player who is universally regarded as the best at his position is a point of pride that transcends statistics. Garrett is not just a great player, he is a symbol of what this franchise is striving to become: elite, respected, and feared. This is why we at Dawg Pound Daily are calling on Browns fans everywhere to recognize how special this moment is. These opportunities do not come around often. Garrett is in his prime, the defense is loaded, the AFC is tough but wide open, and this franchise is positioned to make a real run if the organization can take full advantage. So here's our call to action. If you're part of the Dawg Pound, now is the time to get loud. Support this team. Defend Garrett when rival fans or media figures try to downplay his impact. Make it known that the Browns have not just a star, but the star at edge rusher. And recognize that every sack Garrett gets this season is not just an individual achievement, but a step toward changing this franchise's destiny. We want to hear from you. Do you agree with this ranking? Do you believe Myles Garrett is the best pass rusher in football right now? And what do you think this means for the Browns' chances in 2025? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We read every single one, and your takes help shape this community. If you enjoyed this deep dive, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. We have full coverage coming as training camp begins. Roster breakdowns, depth chart analysis, preseason reactions, and all the news that matters to the Dawg Pound. This is Dawg Pound Daily, and this is where Cleveland Browns fans stay informed, stay passionate, and stay ready.